Hello and welcome. You're watching WION The World as One. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Hem Kaur Saro and here's what we've lined up for you on Speed News today. Let's get started. Cambodian and Thai troops exchanged fire in a new round of clashes at a disputed border area today. Both the Cambodian Defence Ministry and the Thai army accused the other side of firing first in the incident. As the two sides clashed over a disputed border area, the Thai army said a Cambodian rocket strike wounded 3 Thai civilians. The Thai army condemned what it called a targeted attack on civilians by Cambodian forces, saying 2 BM-21 rockets had hit a community in Surin province's Kap Choing district, wounding 3 people. Thailand's acting premier said the situation at Thailand's border with Cambodia remains delicate and must be addressed with caution and prudence, and with measures in line with international law. Thailand-Cambodia, as you know, have been entangled in a border clash. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister of the United Kingdom will be signing the much-anticipated free trade agreement announced in the month of May later today. A UK statement said that the agreement will boost bilateral trade by £25.5 billion every year. The signing of the free trade agreement is seen as a significant milestone in economic ties between the two countries. The agreement is seen as UK's most economically significant bilateral trade deal since leaving the European Union and significantly improves market access for businesses in both countries. A second US court ruled that Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship still cannot go into effect anywhere in the country. The 9th US Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 that 4 Democratic-led states were entitled to a nationwide injunction because any narrower bloc would fail to provide them complete relief. The ruling comes after the Supreme Court late last month curtailed the ability of federal judges to issue nationwide injunctions that go beyond the party suing to block the president's policies for anyone in the country. The Wall Street Journal has reported that U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi told President Donald Trump in May that his name did appear in the investigative files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The report says that the disclosure about Trump's appearance in the Justice Department's case records threatened to deepen a political crisis that engulfed his administration for weeks. Some Trump supporters for years have fanned conspiracy theories about Epstein's clients and the circumstances of his 2019 death in prison. Three police officers were wounded and a man killed in exchange for gunfire early Wednesday afternoon in an industrial area of Lorain, Ohio. The police officer told reporters officers on patrol were ambushed by a man firing a high-powered rifle and that the officers returned fire. He said it is unclear if the suspect, a 28-year-old man from Lorain, whom Welsh did not name, was killed by the officers or if he shot himself. India has sent medical assistance to victims of Monday's fighter jet crash in Bangladesh's capital Dhaka as the death toll in the crash rose to 29 on Wednesday. A Bangladesh Air Force F-7 fighter jet crashed into the Milestone School and College campus in Dhaka on Monday afternoon. Ministry of External Affairs shared that a team of burn specialist doctors and nurses with necessary medical support have been dispatched to Dhaka to treat the victims. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un oversaw artillery drills on Wednesday to test the combat deployment readiness of soldiers. Local publications reported, that artillery live fire training was conducted to prepare soldiers for night marching and combat deployment, as well as surprise attacks on unexpected enemy targets in summer coastal environments and conditions. A Russian drone attack on the night of 9th of June damaged the administrative section of a maternity hospital in Odessa. Odessa Regional Military Administration confirmed that the strikes caused fires and damage to multiple civilian sites, including a maternity hospital, an emergency medical station and residential buildings. Odessa, a key port city on the Black Sea, has frequently been targeted by Russian forces due to its strategic and symbolic importance. Thousands of Ukrainians took to the streets for a second day to protest a new law they say weakens Ukraine's anti-corruption watchdog. The legislation, which has also drawn rebukes from European Union officials and international rights groups, has put increased pressure on Zelensky and endangered his public support at a critical phase of the war. Defending the bill, Zelensky said that he will propose a new bill to parliament that will ensure the strength of the rule of law. Russia and Ukraine, during talks in Istanbul, agreed to exchange 1,200 prisoners of war each. Russian negotiator Vladimir Medinsky said Moscow offered to hand Kyiv the bodies of 3,000 killed soldiers. The country's lead negotiator also said Russia had offered Kyiv ceasefires lasting between 24 hours and 48 hours, and this was to allow troops from both sides to recover the dead and the wounded. The United States announced the approval of $322 million in arms sales to bolster Ukraine's air defenses and its armored combat vehicles. The sale of Hawk air defense equipment and sustainment will cost up to $172 million, while Bradley infantry fighting vehicle equipment and services will total up to $150 million, as per the U.S. Defense Security Cooperation. The EU Council chief has urged China to use its influence on Russia to end the Ukraine war. European Council President Antonio Costa urged China to use its influence with Russia to help end the Ukraine war as EU chiefs met Beijing's top leader.
Such relations will benefit.
South Korea's finance ministry said the talks between top South Korean and U.S. officials to negotiate over the U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs have been postponed. This is due to a scheduling conflict for U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Talks have been postponed even as Trump's tariff deadline looms. Trump is set to impose tariffs on dozens of countries on the 1st of August, including top trade partners Canada, Mexico, Japan, and the European Union. Afghanistan has sent diplomats to Germany to resume consular services and resuming passport services. Reportedly, the caretaker government of Afghanistan has appointed two diplomats, Nibras ul Haq Aziz and Mustafa Hashimi. to serve at its embassy in Germany. Although the acting foreign minister has not officially named the individuals, he confirmed that 2 diplomats have been dispatched to provide consular services to Afghan nationals. Argentine pensioners took to the streets of Buenos Aires in support of the bill to increase their pensions. Retirees in Argentina demonstrated against President Javier Milei's anticipated veto of a pension reform bill. Congress passed a bill on the 11th of July that provides a 7.2% increase to pensions and an improved bonus. In Pakistan, floods inundated hundreds of Punjab villages with mass evacuations underway. According to local reports, flood waters from Ravi, Sutlej, Indus, Chenab and Jhelum rivers have entered vast stretches of agricultural land and residential areas, severely affecting districts such as Muzaffarnagar, Dera Rahim Yar Khan and Jang. And evacuation operations are currently underway in multiple vulnerable villages, especially in areas along the Indus and Chenab rivers. School children in Vanuatu held up placards calling for climate action. This after the world's highest court declared that states are obliged under international law to tackle climate change and warned that failing to do so could open the door to reparations. Many in Vanuatu are viewing the verdict by the ICJ as a crucial step towards climate justice and a potential turning point to global efforts to address this issue. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the International Court of Justice's ruling over climate is a victory for our planet. For climate justice, the ICJ decision states that countries that violate their climate obligations commit an illicit act and could be held liable for reparations. Guterres also praised Vanuatu, the small Pacific island nation that spearheaded the case at the International Court of Justice. Australia's central bank is sticking to cautious path on interest rate cuts despite an unexpected rise in unemployment. Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock said that the June jobless rate wasn't a shock and signaled the labour market is softening in line with forecasts. She highlighted that declines in job vacancies and voluntary job switching are driving the rebalancing and stressed that RBA isn't targeting job losses but a broader demand-supply balance in the economy. Earlier this month, the RBA surprised markets by holding rates in a split decision, preferring to wait for more data before easing. Oil prices edged higher on Thursday, buoyed by progress in U.S. trade talks and a sharper than expected drop in crude inventories. Markets drew support from U.S. data, showing crude stockpiles fell by 3.2 million barrels. Gasoline inventories also dropped, signaling strong summer demand. However, distillate stocks rose slightly but remain near historic seasonal lows. Traders are optimistic after the U.S.-Japan trade deal and signs of a potential US-EU pact. Still, concerns over US-China tensions and unresolved Russia-Ukraine peace talks are capping gains. Japan's manufacturing sector slipped back to contraction in July, hurt by rising uncertainty over US tariffs. The S&P Global Manufacturing PMI fell to 48.8 from 50.1 in June, marking a return below the 50-point line that separates growth from contraction. Output and new orders fell at their fastest pace in months. Meanwhile, Japan's services stayed resilient, with activity climbing to a 5-month high. This strength helped keep the overall composite PMI unchanged in July. Despite the service-led momentum, signs of strain are visible. Export business contracted for the first time in 7 months, and job growth slowed to its weakest pace in nearly 2 years. Reigning world champions Spain edged 8-time winners Germany to reach the Women's European Championship final for the first time. 2-time Ballon d'Or winner Aitana Bonmati struck the only goal of the match in the 113th minute. This is Spain's first win over 8-time champions Germany as well. Germany have failed to reach the Women's Euro final for the first time since 1993, ending a streak of 7 straight semi-final wins. Spain will take on holders England for the title in a repeat of the 2023 World Cup final, which they won 1-0.